21-16 is the final. Michigan gets it done today, Sam. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't. Couple turnovers there in the red zone by Bryce Underwood, but Michigan found a way, led by Jordan Marshall's 3 touchdowns. I think nothing more signified today's game than Jordan's last touchdown run, where he sort of just ran through the scrum, broke some tackles, and just looked like he was down, and then scored on a 9-yard run there to sort of put Michigan's their go-ahead touchdown to secure this win. Your thoughts on that? Obviously, let's start with the good. Jordan Marshall, 185 yards, 25 carries, 8-something yards per carry per rush. I mean, a phenomenal performance. Again, every time he starts, he gets 100 yards.
Yeah, a guy who wills his team. Like, you want someone on a team when adversity hits or you're in a battle and everybody on the team can look to, and we got that guy. Like, get on my back, or the chips are down and it's going to be all right. Like, you don't have to say it. You just know everybody on the team can look to that guy and draw. Like, you feed off of that guy. Like, he gives you something, whatever you need, courage, energy, confidence. Like, you draw something from that guy. He's an energy giver. He's a confidence giver, whatever that is, whatever that thing is. Jordan Marshall is becoming that guy for the offense, right? And you saw it again today, man. I mean, they needed something, whether it was a first down, a couple extra yards on a first down, or that touchdown at the end where he was tackled. I mean, how did he get? What was the play? It was run hard. That was the play.
I mean, we know Michigan. Yeah, I mean, and then I even go back to the first couple of drives. Michigan didn't do anything. They did the first scoring drive. He gets the pass on the outside, 24. It was a 25-yard reception. Next play, 54 yards to the house.
Yeah.
He just has that sort of it factor for this team. And we were talking about this before we went on air. Hey, I was like, man, there's been a lot of great 2-backs, 1-2 punches in the Michigan history. I was like, man, just going through my lifetime, I just remember Tyrone and Tishmunga and just like seeing they got 2 guys that can just hit home runs for this team. Obviously, they had that with Dono and Blake a couple years back, but I mean, just it's a great thing to have. I think he would start on 95% of the teams in the country right now. He's just, and he's the backup.
Man, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if concerned was the right word. I wondered if they were going to be able to do what they did today, if they were going to be able to do what they did last week. That is, against any team, if they got into a situation where they just needed to run the ball on a team and nothing was working and they just need to run the ball to win or to run out the clock and just say, this is what we're doing, stop it. Could they do it? Because as they got into camp and, Chip is doing his install, Michigan was not an RPO team. And they were going to say, hey, Chip runs RPOs. That was not a Sharon thing, right? So they're running 16, 17 RPOs a game now, right? They're running stretch. They have some spread principles in. That's like 90% of what they were doing in camp, so they could run it in games. And so if that's what you're doing, could you still do what they had become proficient in could you smash? Could you still do that? I wonder. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to still be able to do that when all the chips are down, and they can still do it. They can still do it. I mean, even with 3 redshirt freshman linemen in there, they were still able to mount that kind of attitude, presence, that kind of physicality down the stretch, duos, inside zone, still stretch. That was something that they were not able to do in the past. Stretch is a big part of what they do now. And they added the split stretch to it. That's been a huge part of what they do. That has worked to great effect of late. The running game has been their saving grace these last couple of weeks. And Jordan Marshall, especially with the physicality. I mean, they've schemed and they've mixed power in there. The power and the schematics have worked to perfection and to great effect to the victories these last couple of weeks, including today.
Yeah, and before we get to Bryce's performance, I just want to add, and what you already mentioned, just to add to that, what Jordan Marshall brings to the table It just, you can't coach it. He has it.
Yeah.
He runs hard. And it's just, you saw that. It was evident today. And it's tip your hat off to him. He carried Michigan clearly to this victory today.
That ain't coaching.
No. What he has is, it's just called willpower.
Yeah,
and he does not want to go down.
That's called, hey, give it to me, coach, and get out the way.
And he's the guy that he'll get you short yards, and then he'll bust you for one. And that's just what he does. He's a home run waiting to happen, or a first down waiting to happen. He just does it. Just keeps those feet moving. It's just something you just see. You're just waiting for. You just gotta be patient.
Yeah, I thought last week, and we have to look at the tape to say for sure. I thought last week was great schematics. Like they introduced 3 new run schemes and they had Michigan State confused. Tonight, I think they just busted them in the mouth. Now, again, we got to look at the tape to really see, but I think they just busted them in the mouth tonight. And it was Jordan Marshall really being a sledgehammer to him.
Now, let's go to another teammate in the backfield there. Obviously, Bryce Underwood. We've talked about this, Sam. You've talked about this. You know, Bryce, obviously, sometimes the stats aren't what you want, but he hasn't made mistakes. Today, he made 2 of them, costly ones in the red zone. Made everyone in here a little uncomfortable, right? In the fourth quarter, Purdue was in this game. You had the interception. I think he might have been able to run and on that one, and he sort of threw across his body, across the middle, which they always say, don't throw across the middle, right? Then he did. He's about to get the first down inside the 5-yard line and fumbles into the end zone, and Purdue gets a touchback. And that touchdown puts that game, puts Michigan up again by 2 scores. So it really kept Purdue in this game, and Michigan survives.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest statistical game by Bryce. I think it was like 13 of 22, 145 yards. He had about 44 on the ground, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of meat on the bone, right?
No doubt.
You had the turnovers. I think we all saw, everyone that was here watching on TV saw the passes down the field, right? There were some receivers. I know it's a 2-way street, but some of those balls were a little high. And want to see, it's 9 games. We're 9 games into the season, right? So, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, you want to see a little more.
Yes. So all season, he's done a good job of taking care of the football. That is, for a freshman, it's been remarkable how well he's taking care of the football. Ball security was not good tonight.
No.
Right. That interception, and you're going into halftime, and it's one of those deals where this is a great scenario where you can create some separation because you get the ball first in the second half. So you score there, and then you come out, you get the ball first, you score there, you got a 2 score spread, right? So take care of the football. And he had an opportunity to get a first down by running it and just, tried to make a play, trying to do a little too much. The kind of thing that he hadn't done. Just trying to make an extra play. And I'm sure as soon as he did it, he knew what he had done wrong. And fortunately, the defense made a play, or, great stand, got the ball right back, shank punt, and Michigan got the ball, and they still scored to get a score right before the half, right? So limited the damage, and you were able to survive. But then, running the ball in the second half, poor ball security, and the ball got punched out and fumbled through the end zone. So obviously, this is a thing with him running the football as much as he's running it. That's something that they work on, is ball security as a runner right now that he's got to be tight with. It's this is a tough thing that he's going through right now. The kinds of struggles that are probably unique experience for him. Growing pains as a phenomenally talented young man. There were some open receivers out there.
Yes.
And some guys that we wanted to see, like Jamar Browder. Look at who they put out there. We've been looking for Browder, and they got him in the slot, right? You're seeing a lot of guys that we've been asking to see. Had some opportunities down the field on that first series. It was Browder. You had Zach Marshall. I think he almost had there. And then, there was the ball that looked like McCulley almost had it. Would have liked to have seen that connection be made. It's just tough, man, that these balls are off. They're off. And so you want to see them continue to put it up, continue to rep it. Because why? Because the repetitions, you feel like as they rep it more, the more you do it, eventually it'll sink in. Because what happened in this game is I feel like the early inaccuracy started to make him, after the first look, pull it down.
Right.
You know, he stopped progressing his reads. At least that's how I felt. Now we can look at the film to see, but now it's after the first look, now he's running. Now he made some plays. He made a couple of plays that way, but if the passing game is going to progress, got to progress the reads. So to me, at halftime, what you would like to see them do, and I think they probably did, is, hey man, calm him down. Say, hey man, you know, listen, plays are there. It's gonna be all right. You know, still that guy, still the man. We're gonna go out here and we're gonna get it. But it's a tight game. They got to the point that they were in last week. You're in a dogfight with Purdue. You cannot lose to Purdue.
No,
you can't.
No.
And so, hey man, you can't. As much as you want to be working the passing game, as much as you want to keep putting it up, you kind of can't, right? You kind of can't. You can't just keep.
The chances were there in the first half, and they can only do so much.
Yeah, you kind of can't just keep throwing it up if you aren't making progress in the game throwing the football. You gotta win the game. Now the focus shifts to we gotta win this game, and we'll work on the passing game when we could just work on the passing game, which is impressive. That's why the bye week is coming at a good time.
Yeah,
because they obviously need to work. And you know, people are quick to cast, you know, too broad a conclusion. Oh, he's overrated. Oh, he's not what we thought he was. Oh, we were sold a bill of goods. He is still that guy. He is still the same guy, still very talented, still, you know, the immensely talented, high IQ guy. Thought he just happens to be going through some growing pains that is taking longer to get through than maybe they anticipated, which is why the bye week is coming at a great time. Now you got the time to get them to breathe, some time to focus, maybe work through some things, because this is going to be a tough opponent that they face down in Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
So really, you love that you got an extra week to get prepared, an extra week to, you know, get some guys healthy, right? And an extra week to also help him trust his protection more, because a lot of this boils down to that too. Rushing through things to the point where, you know, as you rush through, you know, whether it's your footwork or your mechanics, a lot of that leads to maybe some balls sailing or, you know, being errant with your throws. And this is just coming from listening to quarterbacks talk, listening to coaches talk about what they see when they watch him, you know, throw these footballs.
Armchair quarterback over here. I just feel like sometimes he likes to show off that arm. He's got that Matthew Stafford in him. He shows off that cannon. When you want to see him just put a little bit more touch on those balls, and it comes with footwork, setting your feet, making the right throw. But you saw it sail tonight, and a few of those you wish he had back, like you mentioned the Zach Marshall throw. I mean, he could have ran for the first down there too. But what we said last week, we wanted to see him develop the passing game. We already know he can run. We already know Michigan can run the football. Ultimately, they had to win this game. But you wanted to see more from the passing game. Yeah. And there's still time. It's not going to get any easy. I know you got two games on the road, and then you got Ohio State here in a month. Yeah. There's a lot left for the play for the season, but there's a lot more to be desired from this offense.
Yeah, and they were two play action shots that were missed opportunities. There was a Max Flood that was an overthrow. There was a wheel that he was pressured on. It's like, man, you know, there were opportunities in there that it's like, you know, it's just not coming together just yet. And then there are things that you want to see them do, maybe from a coaching perspective, that could hopefully ease something, because he's so good on the run, and there are opportunities that you feel like would be more readily available. Like the boot action for them is not as available as you would think. And to me, I kind of put that on scheming a little bit. Like, why isn't, as well as they run the football, why isn't their boot action like jerking the defense more? Like, so they naked from pistol. I asked Borges this, I asked Denard this. Like, they're naked in from why aren't our defenses like way over there when they're naked? And I just wonder if they got under center more on play action, on nakeds, would that jerk the defense more and have him on the, as he comes around, like he's what now as he's
I question is
coming
that a
around.
comfortability thing, but they've also ran the pistol.
Maybe so.
They've ran the pistol a lot under Sharon as well.
Well,
So,
here's what I know. Here's what I know. Every time he's coming around on the bootleg, somebody's in his face. Right now, it shouldn't be that much. It shouldn't be that much. And so this is just talking about how could you do things schematically to make him more comfortable. Now, that is not everything. Some of this is he's just got to get better.
Yeah.
Right. He's just got to get more comfortable with his protection, because sometimes the protection is there. Right. And he's just got to trust it more. It's not bad all the time. And he's just got to learn. And sometimes he's got to learn where the pressure is most likely to come from. Right. And I think this is another reason why the bye week is coming at a good time, because that's something that they can. Denard was, I think, very good at talking about that. He said, hey, every quarterback struggles initially with, hey, man, where's the pressure coming from? Right. And gets a little antsy. And he said, and I talked about this before, for him, he got better with it when he started to learn where the pressure was most likely to come from and how to account for it. So now you got a little more time to work on that. Right. So this is, again, a good time for the bye week. So all of these things can maybe help him be more comfortable in time for Northwestern, because, again, this is not going to do. This passing game is not going to do for Ohio State. You know, hopefully you can run it this well in the absence of a passing game, but there's no guarantee. Right. So it just doesn't feel like this will be good enough. You got to plan on it getting better over the next couple of weeks and on the road, right? And you're going to be on the road. So you don't have the luxury of the comfortable confines of the big house. So the test is going to be harder, which is another reason why the bye week is good, Josh Newkirk.
They got to get healthy, get this passing game going. But I mean, there's a lot to be desired. We'll see what happens. But hey,
you know what? Listen, what I appreciate about him is, you know, you look at last week's game, you look at tonight. A dude who is not chasing stats, a dude who doesn't make excuses. Hey, focus on getting better, working on this game. Never makes it about anyone else. Always makes it about him. So just got to keep getting in the lab, keep going in the lab and trying to get better. And, you know, it's same thing about, you know, coaches and players in there. Tune out the noise, keep working. Same dude that you went out and recruited was the number one guy in the country. Same dude that is going to come out here and I think still be the guy that can lead them to where they want to go.
Defensively, some key injuries today. Guys out, sat out, Rolder, Sullivan. You lost Barham during the game, and they're losing guys, just losing like the linebacker corps there. I mean, guys got some experience. Purdue was able to move the ball a little bit today, and had sustained a couple long drives. The one drive was like nine and a half minutes, but still, they held their own. They got the job done. Still, I mean, Purdue only scored 16 points. It's not like they went up and they killed them on the scoreboard. Yeah. Right, a guy that I want to hit on though first. Right, Derek Moore, right? We've been talking about how he's just it started to click for him after the loss at USC. He's been on a tear. Not 2 sacks again today. I think he's up to like 8.5 or something like that for the season. Yeah. But he is really starting to say the guy that we thought he would be is coming in the season. He started a slow start, and now it's like, okay, now he's looking like a guy that might go not only day 2 if he keeps this up, We know you get paid if you make games in that last game of the season.
Yeah, what is he up to? 10 sacks now?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, he might go. We're looking at potentially a day one guy. I'm thinking if he keeps his pace up.
Yeah, man. He's been a beast. He's been a beast these last 3 weeks. I got to look at the tape to see if they started giving him extra attention after that first quarter, because he was an animal in there. But you look at what this defense is starting to become a triage unit, because Jayshon Barham goes out, after the first play, and they had moved him back to linebacker to account for Jimmy Rother being out.
Yeah. And
you already had Cole Sullivan out. So you got a lot of young guys in there at linebacker playing next to Earn, right? So and Troy Bowles is not a young guy, but he's a new guy. And you got Nate Owusu-Boateng in there. And I'm trying to remember who else that they're throwing in there as far as young linebackers are concerned. But the point is, man, there's a lot of young dudes that you're coming in there with saying, okay, go fit the run, right? And so you're going to spring some leaks. And we saw some leaks get sprung in there a time or two. Lugar Edepaye was in there on the edge a couple times. Like you had a couple things happen with some young players a time or two, but the defense made some key stands. Like I said, right there at the end of the half, after a key turnover, they made a key stand. There was a 4th down stop that they absolutely had to have it, right? So they had some timely stands that defense did today against a team that, we aren't writing home a lot about, but the point was this offense wasn't giving them a whole lot in the passing game in terms of helping them sustain things. It was like everything was leaning on the run. So the defense had to really help pick up some slack today. And I thought they did that, especially with a lot of their guys out today. So I'm giving the defense some credit, considering the guys that they had out today.
Yeah, I thought the key moment in the game was obviously at the end of the third, start of the fourth quarter. You had the 3rd and short. Michigan gets the stuff. You knew Purdue's in the top 10 in the country as far as going for it on 4th down this season. 4th and 2. They came with the same play right up the middle again. Michigan got the stop. Big momentum swing where Michigan's defense really just sort of seemed like they sort of found their niche right then and there we went into the fourth quarter. Another guy I just want to point out, TJ Guy, another sack today. Had one last week in East Lansing. He's really starting to turn the corner too. He had a little bit of a slow start. He didn't have his first sack until last week. So now he's got back-to-back weeks because sacks. That's a guy I thought was going to have a pretty good year. So
yeah, man,
down the stretch run, second half of the season, seeing both their DNs coming home, getting some pressure. That's good for Michigan. It's always good for Michigan to see your DNs get some pressure.
Yeah, man, it is. It was fine when you had like the old guard in there, when you had like the main guys in there, but then when they had to dig into their young depth, that's when you started to see Purdue make some play. And one of those things is going to happen when you got a lot of guys out. And when you got when you let a team like this hang around, they get some belief, and then they see, oh man, well, look at what we're doing to their offense a little bit. And you, like I said, you let them hang around.
Had me thinking about, going in my Rolodex here, like, oh, what they've had some bad losses to Purdue.
Man.
Remember, I know you remember this one, wasn't it like 5-3?
Oh, yeah.
William Carr fumbled it on the.
Don't remind me.
It started making me think of my youth, right? Of some bad losses to Purdue. So it seems like I was like, man, are we going there again? Hey, Michigan survived. It's the number one thing. They survived.
Get to the bye.
It still says a W next year. And on the schedule, it says a W, right? It's a lot easier to move on with a W. That's what they have.
Yeah, and they got an opportunity to work on themselves. Like, I think that's what the first week of the bye week will probably be. Work on themselves first. Before you start working on Northwestern, there's a life. Get healthy. Some guys are just, it's about treatment. But for the guys who aren't worried about, healing up, the rest of them are working on, hey, we got some skill development to be working on. I think that's what that whole first week of the bye will be focused on, and necessarily so.
And then, hey, keep seeing those young guys coming in, get reps when they need them. Next man up mentality. Jimmy Roller, Michigan needs him back, though. He's been an all Big Ten performer, one of the best players on their defense this year. It's guy definitely I think has a good chance. He's going to be playing on Sunday somewhere. So we'll
and passing game.
Passing game. We'll see what happens. Never easy to throw the ball in Chicago, but we'll see what happens. Look for our coverage and more on the MichiganInsider.com. Hey,